Hello and welcome to Last Week in AWS. If you're in New York, tomorrow evening, come on over at 6 p.m. to Vol de Nuit and let me buy you a drink while I'm in town for the AWS Summit. So let's see what AWS got up to last week. Amazon Bedrock introduces API keys for streamlined development. Now I'm not sure how to position Bedrock versus calling Anthropic directly. Until now, I've simply said that it's the same price and the same results. It just depends on whether or not you want the authentication flow to be 20 times harder. This episode is brought to you by Augment Code. You're a professional software engineer. Vibes won't cut it. Augment Code is the only AI assistant built for real engineering teams. It ingests your entire repo, millions of lines, tens of thousands of files, so every suggestion lands in context and keeps you in line. With Augment's new remote agent, queue up parallel tasks like bug fixes, features, and refactors, close your laptop, and return to ready for review pull requests. Where other tools stall, Augment Code sprints. Unlike vibe coding tools, Augment Code never trains on or sells your code, so your team's intellectual property stays yours. And you don't have to switch tooling. Keep using VS Code, JetBrains, Android Studio, or even my beloved Vim. Don't hire an AI for vibes. Get the agent that knows you and your code base best. Start your 14-day free trial at augmentcode.com. Amazon P6E-GB200 Ultra servers now available for the highest GPU performance in EC2. What would I do with a $781 an hour instance with 13 terabytes of RAM? Well, that's easy. 2 Slacks at the same time. Announcing AWS Builder Center, another valiant attempt by AWS to build the developer community they've always dreamed of, this time with a dash more polish and presumably several dozen new acronyms. The Builder Center actually shows promise, like watching your awkward teenage cousin finally figure out how to talk to people at parties without bringing up their extensive knowledge of medieval siege weapons. I'll give credit where it's due here. The team clearly did put some serious thought into making this more than just another corporate message board with Amazon branding slapped on top. That said, I'm setting a calendar reminder for 2026 to check whether this becomes yet another entry in the AWS Historical Reenactment Society of Deprecated Community Platforms, or if it actually sticks around long enough to see meaningful adoption. Hope springs eternal, even in the cloud. Oracle Database at AWS posts in general availability, expands networking capabilities. Well, after decades of Larry Ellison treating AWS like that one relative who posts MLM schemes on the Facebooks, we've reached the, if you can't beat them, reluctantly join them while still trash-talking them at every Oracle Open World phase of cloud adoption. I'm personally particularly amused by the announcement carefully tiptoeing around the fact that this is essentially Oracle admitting that AWS's gravity well has become so massive that even their crown jewels had to be dragged kicking and screaming into Andy Jassy's cloud empire. The real question is whether Oracle's licensing team got the memo that they're supposed to be playing nice now, or if they're still gleefully calculating core counts like a loan shark tallying up interest. Evolve your Amazon DynamoDB tables data model. What? I was historically told at great length to use DynamoDB only when you understood your query patterns super well. Otherwise, I should move the hell on to something else. Quantifying the impact of developer experience. Amazon's 15.9% breakthrough. I could spin up 10,000 OpenSearch clusters at fabulous expense and still not be able to find where Amazon got the audacity for this post. This is Amazon publishing a treatise on developer experience while their own documentation remains a labyrinthine maze. You know, the place where search results from 2014 outrank current information and half their services have names that sound like they were generated by a Markov chain fed nothing but enterprise buzzwords. That Amazon? The article's central thesis about Amazon's internal 15.9% productivity improvement through better tooling is fascinating, but it's a bit like Godzilla publishing a white paper on urban planning. Sure, you've had a lot of experience with cities, but perhaps not in the way that's most helpful to others. The most unintentionally hilarious part is how they present this as some revolutionary insight, as if thousands of developers haven't been screaming into the void about the importance of good tooling while simultaneously fighting with the AWS CLI's inconsistent output formats and trying to decipher CloudFormation errors that might as well be written in ancient Sumerian. The bullshit is coming from inside the house. This episode is sponsored by my own company, the Duckbill Group. Having trouble with your AWS bill? Perhaps it's time to renegotiate a contract with them. Maybe you're just wondering how to predict what's going on in the wide world of AWS. Well, that's where the Duckbill Group comes in to help. Remember, you can't duck the Duckbill bill, which I am reliably informed by my business partner is absolutely not our motto. Use K8s GPT and Amazon Bedrock for simplified Kubernetes cluster maintenance. I've done some experiments with using GenAI to troubleshoot Kubernetes issues. I have seen nothing before or since that burns through LLM tokens this quickly. Introducing guidance for a media lake on AWS. Yes, another guidance document from AWS about building a media lake, which is apparently different from a regular data lake because it costs even more money to store large video files due to, solar flares. But hey, at least they included some lovely diagrams showing how all these services connect together, which will look great pinned to your wall next to the payment notices. AWS Direct Connect Layer 1 explained. From data centers to cloud connectivity. This comes complete with charming diagrams that look like they were drawn by someone who just discovered PowerPoint's Shape Tool collection and then took a job as AWS's head of graphic design. It's fascinating how they managed to simultaneously oversimplify. It's just light bouncing through glass and overcomplicate. Here's a detailed analysis of wavelength division multiplexing, the entire process of getting your data center to talk to AWS without going through the internet's series of tubes. The most hilarious part's how they present cross-connects and meet-me rooms as if they're straightforward concepts, completely glossing over the reality we are actually paying someone $500 an hour to crawl through a raised floor while muttering obscenities because cable number 47293 wasn't actually labeled correctly, and your dedicated fiber line is sharing space with a bundle of cables that looks like it was organized by a caffeinated octopus. I may have some experience here. And finally, establishing a European trust service provider for the AWS European Sovereign Cloud. And it is absolutely precious that AWS thinks wrapping their European Sovereign Cloud in a shiny new European-owned trust service provider will somehow make the US government's grabby hands disappear. Sure, Zscaler's Germany GmbH will technically be the TSP, operating under EU law and oversight. But last time I checked, Zscaler's parent headquarters was still in San Jose, California. You know, that well-known European city nestled in the heart of Silicon Valley. It's like trying to claim your German Shepherd is a European purebred while it's wearing a Stars and Stripes collar, stocking up on guns and Big Macs, and answering to Uncle Sam. No matter how many layers of European sovereignty you wrap this in, at the end of the day, the U.S. Cloud Act still exists, and American parent companies still have to play ball with U.S. authorities when they come knocking. But hey, at least the PowerPoint slides will look great with all those EU compliance checkboxes ticked. And that's what happened last week in AWS. I'm cloud economist Corey Quinn. Stick around.